a letter from another system. There are moments in science when the discovery is so subtle, so small, that at first no one understands its meaning. Sometimes the message from the universe is written not in light, but in dust. This is the story of a comet 3IAtlas, and of the scientists who began to wonder whether this fragment of ice and stone was more than just a wanderer. Perhaps it was a message, a letter from another system. Years after 3IAtlas disintegrated, its fragments were no longer visible to telescopes. Only a handful of micrograms of interstellar dust remained in the detectors of observatories, tiny grains that had once belonged to another star's creation. For most, the comet was just a memory, a failed celestial event. But for one research team, it was only the beginning. They began to study the composition of that dust, comparing isotopes, ratios, and the fingerprints of molecules frozen for millions of years. And that's when they noticed something strange. Within the data, one of the isotopic patterns didn't match anything found in our solar system. Oxygen and carbon ratios were subtly shifted, as if the atoms had been formed in a different kind of stellar nursery under the light of another sun. To an ordinary observer, this would seem trivial, just numbers. But for the scientists, it was as if they were hearing an accent in a language they had never spoken before. It meant only one thing: the dust was not of our world. It had come from far beyond, born of other physics, other conditions, other beginnings. The team proposed a radical idea that every interstellar object, every Oumuamua, every atlas is part of a vast galactic archive. Each carries a sample of the chemistry, history, and evolution of its home system. By collecting enough of them, we could someday build a map of the Milky Way's chemical diversity, a record of the stars from which these travelers once came. And perhaps, hidden within one of them, we might even find the first trace of alien biochemistry. They began with what little they had: a few nanograms of 3IAtlas dust captured in Earth's upper atmosphere. Under the microscope, the particles looked ordinary, frozen carbon chains, bits of silicate. But the deeper they examined, the stranger it became. Some organic molecules showed a chirality opposite to what's found on Earth, as if life in another corner of the galaxy had followed a mirror path. It wasn't proof of life, but it was enough to ask a dangerous question. Could comets like 3IAtlas be carriers of the building blocks of life? Not only across planets, but across stars. The more they studied, the clearer the paradox became. If matter can travel freely between systems, then our planet, our oceans, our bodies may already contain atoms that once belonged to other suns. The universe, then, is not a set of isolated worlds, but a web, a slow conversation between stars, spoken in dust and time. 3IAtlas might have been one word in that conversation, a brief syllable in a galactic language we've only just begun to hear. One of the scientists, in her final report, wrote these words: "Perhaps we will never know who sent it, or whether it was sent at all. But if a fragment of alien ice can reach our sky, after traveling for millions of years, then we are already connected, parts of the same story. And that, she said, is the real meaning of 3IAtlas, not a comet, but a letter written in the handwriting of the cosmos, delivered across impossible distance, opened for a moment by human eyes. Today, the dust of 3I/Atlas still drifts through the void, invisible, silent, carrying its unknown chemistry into the dark between the stars. Somewhere, perhaps, another civilization will find the remnants of our comets and ask the same questions. Who sent this? What world did it come from? And what message does it carry? Maybe they too will look up into their night sky and whisper, a letter from another system,